I say.
I say, dear boy. I say. No, we haven't turned slightly mad. We are already mad. um, Good evening, ladies and germs. Yes. I'm not sure what the fuck we're going to talk about because my brain is really not working tonight. But we are going to find something. I don't know what news is. I don't know what news there is going on with the vaping side of things. I don't think there's much. Evening, Stanky. Evening, Shane. Hope you're both well.
Hey, everybody.
News,
Um,
news-wise, there's not a lot. There's only
no,
those,
no news.
there's only
No news tonight.
no, there's only those daft fuckers in Hull that were vaping
Oh
Class Bs.
God. Yeah, yet more bullshit. You know.
At least the headlines said they were vaping Class Bs.
If you're going to do fake news, right? Make it funny. Like you remember the Sunday Sport newspaper, Bill?
Yeah.
Obviously, Tyler won't, but the Sunday Sport was a newspaper we had in the UK, isn't it?
No,
Even
it
free.
wasn't.
Well,
No,
it was.
No,
It was
it
meant
wasn't.
to be.
It was Sunday morning soft porn.
Yeah, it was. And basically, it would have things on the front page like Adolf Hitler's body found in number 9 bus on moon.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
They would print this
Okay.
shit. Yeah. It wasn't as good as Mad Magazine. At least Mad Magazine, that was a quality American publication. It was common.
Well, I'll give you that.
Great.
Yeah, like
yes, full of boobies, Hanky. I knew I could rely on Hanky to have read it at some point. Yeah, but that was just like you read it and it was like, and I thought I'll try and read it not from our point of view, but from like a normal person's view. You know, and see how it comes across. No, it still made no fucking sense whatsoever. And yet there's people out there who actually read this shit and go, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do think the world has gone, I think it has gone nuts. I really do. Hence the title for the show this evening. I think the world has gone, you know, with some of the people, you've got a lunatic with ginger hair. Well, Garfield stuck to his head running.
Well, pretending to run.
Yeah, pretending to run.
Honestly. Because you know damn well 99% of those decisions are not coming out of his head.
Of course they're not. Well, they're coming out of somewhere, but not his head. Anyway, you've got Elon, who, again, and I saw a good article on that. It said about, you know, all that he's done, all these big events. And everything he has ever done is where he has bought something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he bought X, he bought the electric car project, he bought, you know, all of these things. They're not his ideas. If somebody's got an idea of their own and you do go and do it and you're successful, yeah, awesome, good for you. And then we've got Putin, who, well, he's definitely.
Can you give us a clue which planet he thinks he's on? Because I'm bloody sure it's not Earth.
Well, that's why he got so upset. He thought he had a planet, and then Pluto got declassified, reclassified, declassified. He got upset.
That would explain
it. He is Pluto.
The dog.
I don't know. I mean,
this explains Donald Trump palling up with him.
And then we have Elmer Fudd or Keir Starmer.
Which is which?
Well, I'd sooner trust Elmer Fudd with a shotgun.
Yeah.
I'd sooner trust Elmer Fudd with the UK government.
I mean, you might have a shortage of rabbits, but I mean, everybody eating good.
9 out of 10 Americans think that Elmer Fudd should be president. So, you know.
With our track record, Matt, would that really be a bad option?
I said 9 out of 10 Americans think Elmer Fudd is president.
I'm going to keep on this thing about sort of presidential figures of the world, because you've got the German vice chancellor, prime minister, who's definitely a bit fucking round the bend, very anti-raping. You've got the French one at the minute, who, again, same thing, small man, thinks he's Napoleon.
Got too many arms.
You've got Kim Jong-un, who hairstyled by Pudding Bowl.
I thought by accident.
I mean, this is the man who disagreed with his uncle, so put his uncle on a target range and shot him with a 7.5-inch howitzer. I mean, I've had fallouts with people, you know, not got on
right,
with them.
but
you know, maybe have an argument, maybe even swung a punch at them. But it's a bit extreme here.
Yeah.
And these are the people who set the rules.
Not just the rules, but they set the standards of living for how many people.
Shane, that one that Shane's just said about. Are you sure you can't believe it? Because think about it. Think about the country. Think about the world we're in. Think about the people that are being given more than the average English person or British person.
Yeah, they're seeking to get safe status for refugees, and because it's more money.
Now, I have nothing. I personally, I don't celebrate Easter anyway. It's not something I personally celebrate, because to me, Easter is a Christian religious holiday. But if that is something you wish to, celebrate because you like it and you like chocolate eggs, no.
I'll eat chocolate eggs whenever I want, thanks.
You know, if that's something you want to do, especially with kids, and kids should be allowed to do it, Easter egg runs and having a bit of fun. And yeah, that's fine. But this same school is not celebrating Easter, as you said, but they will celebrate things like Ramadan, Eid, the other holidays go out of my head at the moment, but Diwali and all of those. Oh, St. George's Day is as good as banned anyway.
And they're doing Refugees Week.
Yeah. If you want to upset anybody in a position of power, government or schools, say that you're white and you're British or English, and you will upset them easily.
I mean, the funny thing about Easter this year over here, honestly, besides the fact of what date it falls on, because that makes me just laugh. I thought it was hilarious. But take that out of it. We actually had to have a discussion the day of we're even going to color Easter eggs with the kids this year, simply because of the price of eggs. Like, we go get a couple dozen eggs, let the kids, just the eggs alone are going to cost upwards of $10-12 for a couple dozen.
Yeah. Hey, Nova.
I know, baby, go.
Hey up, Lisa.
I agree with celebrating all diversity, Lisa. All. I mean that. I truly do. I have no issue with celebrating, be it a Christian holiday, a Muslim holiday, a Buddhist holiday, whatever religion. I have no issue with that. The issue I have is when you start pushing one holiday out for another.
Yeah.
Then I have a problem because that is the start of it becoming it isn't extremist yet, but it's the start of it. It's the narrow end of that wedge.
Very
You're
definitely. It's
starting to just tap that little wedge in there and that ends up causing people to go, well, I'm British or whatever. I want to celebrate Easter with my kids. I want to.
well, Matt, I look back even 20 odd years ago. The only reason I got priority for housing was because I was moved under the Mental Health Act.
Yeah. I mean, you and I are lucky in that way. We have a protection there at the moment.
Yeah. If it hadn't been for that, though, I would have just been homeless.
I was trying, Hanky, but the button, the F1 key, the command didn't work to replace Tyler.
Hey,
Damn, they've nicked the red button off my keyboard.
Yeah, you see, they ban everything. I'll try harder next week.
well, just watch. It'll be like those links you sent me for different videos and shit. I'll go to sign on next week and not accessible from your country.
Yeah.
I think at the moment, Hanky, I think we will be okay with Pip currently. But what the future holds, I don't know. I honestly don't. I think we'll be.
I'm hoping that because I know Matt's got it and I've got it, we've got protected what was ESA, but I've just had to transfer to Universal Credit, but I'm still under the same protection
Like
because of disabilities.
Look, I think he's just
it should in theory mean because I only finally got it reinstated last October, mean by the time the review comes round, I won't have a review. It'll just be taken on my doctor's word.
Thank you, my darling. My look, it's all bollocks. Yes, I agree, dear. It is all bollocks.
I thought I am the camera higher.
Yeah, be careful. The thing is, right, is with the PIP, like, I don't see how they're going to, because some people, as you said, Shane, have a mobility vehicle, but not because they're disabled, but because the person they care for is the disabled party, can't drive because they're severely disabled, blah, 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 or it's a child. I don't think they're going to be able to touch that just yet. But
the problem comes in with the restrictions they're putting in on persons under 22.
Yeah. There's definitely Starmer is causing more issues, like he's put the taxes up on terminally ill children homes. He's put taxes up on terminal ill terminally ill, hospices and so on for people who are passing from terrible disease like cancers, and not to go too deep into that because, you know.
Or motor neurons or...
Hanky, now you are talking bollocks if we think you're under 22. You wish. I think unfortunately it's going to be, and the worst thing about mobility, the whole PIP mobility and everything, as soon as something comes out in the papers and from the government saying we're looking at this, it causes everybody to go, oh fuck, what if I lose it? What if this happens? But it instantly causes people to start panicking, which is quite normal. And then you're in a position where that makes your health worse because mentally.
It's re-triggered my anxieties.
I mean, it's triggered mine a little bit at the moment, but I'm trying not to think about it. But, you know, I know it's going on.
I know it's re-triggered my anxieties because I had to go to see Universal Credit last Monday. And fortunately, I was assigned the advisor I had when I was put onto JSA 5 years ago.
Look at hell.
Walked through the door. She goes, I've seen you before. Pulled up my file. She pulled up my file and goes, why the hell have they sent for you? You shouldn't even be here.
This is the government's doing. You know,
well, exactly. Well, it's like over here. I mean, I get the system's different on how you pay for, appointments and everything, obviously. But it's like over here, the more appointments they put you through and the more they call you into the doctor, the more back end they get out of it. Whether it's your government paying for it, my insurance paying for part of it, or part of it that I pay out of my own pocket.
I mean, that's the one good thing here is hospital, doctors, all that don't pay for.
Right. No. Well, that's the thing about over here. That's why they've had the Minute Clinic put in, besides the fact that hospitals are overrun as it is with patients, is because the Minute Clinics will give you, the quick medication fixes for a lot of the stuff, flus, all that type of shit, without going and spending god-awful amounts of hours in the ER, plus how much the bill is going to be for seeing the doctors there and the room charges for being in the room.
Hanky, what are you planning? You're planning on touching me in strange ways. You're planning on getting my good lady to pin me down. I'm getting worried here. What goes on in Hanky's brain?
Now, Matt, when she starts agreeing to his ideas, then you got to worry.
That's nothing new, Shane. There's always been people in government say that mental health is not real, it's a myth, and that we fake it. And well,
I've news for those people. Stop my medication for a week, and I'll come and see you.
Yeah.
And I trust you. There will only be one person walks out of the room.
It's always been the same, that the people in power who deal with the medical things and actually do the rulings on the medical stuff are not medical. Which is insane.
I mean, when I've actually had the medical assessment for PIP, the nurse who did the medical assessment said, you should actually be on the highest rates.
They also said he should still be locked up, but anyway.
Shh.
But the problem is, though, Matt, Bill loves the hugging feeling of those nice, cross-lace jackets, so it doesn't really work the same for him.
The straight jackets are great.
Brilliant.
They're really comfortable.
It's just, do you get them with the studs on the inside or the outside? Hey up, Steve.
Oh, for fuck's sake,
Oh,
Steve.
fuck. Not good, Steve.
Bless him. I hope he's all right. Big love to Jasper.
Oh no.
But
Hopefully
no,
Jasper
Look,
feels
Steve,
better.
if you bring your leg home and you actually got back a hold of it, it's not for him to chew. If you know.
Bless him.
No, I hope he's okay. Seriously.
I'm sure he'll be fine if it's just a bit of sickness and diarrhea. Typical dog, he's probably eaten something that he shouldn't have been eating when he's been out in the garden or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bugger for that. But yeah, the whole mental health thing going on at the minute with the government, I haven't really got into tackling on here because nobody knows, including the government. They haven't got a clue. They're just coming out with statements like, we're going to look into this and we're going to do that and we're going to do it. Okay. Well, you know, there's no actual plan there. There's no actual.
no.
We're going to save money and we're going to give ourselves a pay rise.
Fuck the pay rise.
Because that's what's going on.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you have the other one, and it's just come straight back into my mind with Lisa. We're going to give ourselves a pay rise, but we're going to give carers a pay rise that works out about 3 pence a week.
Right.
That much? Wow.
I mean, Lisa will probably tell me off in a minute. She'll tell me how much it is, but you know, it's so
It can't be that
ridiculous.
far off from what they're trying to offer, honestly.
Totally agree with you there, Shane.
They couldn't find their arses with both hands, but they can find each other's arses. Anyway, there's a thought to put in your head.
Oh, I've got one. What the blind Liberal Democrats dog that got a bollocking for crossing the house to be stroked?
It comes to something when even the dog's like, fuck this. You just imagine Jasper being a guide dog in the mountains. Fuck
Hey,
it.
He's find every Greg's on every corner for him.
Fuck it. I'm going over here.
Well, that just had me collapse laughing. I'm thinking the deputy speaker had to give the dog a dressing down for strolling across the house to be stroked. It's a dog.
Wes really had his shots.
It wasn't the MP.
He's got more brains than the members of Parliament.
Combined.
It works out, as Lisa just said, 4 pence per hour based on a 35-hour week, which, may I add, Lisa, on average, does about 80 to 90 hours per week.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So that 4 pence an hour, if we take it on, let's say, just 70 hours, it's 2 pence a week, or probably about 1.7, 1.6, 1.7 pence an hour.
No, 1.3 pence an hour.
Oh, it's 1.3.
It's 1.3 if she's doing 70 hours, three separate lots of 35 hours. That's 1.3 pence an hour.
Can you still buy penny chews?
Yeah, the 5p.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just using it as an example, Lisa. I'm not insulting you personally. It is an insult, an absolute insult.
Well, exactly. And like you
I
said, though,
still,
from
I,
Lisa's point of view, she sees it actually on a day-to-day basis. She knows what the reality is. You know, it's not just a question of, oh, these are the numbers the government gives us.
I mean, I remember when I was little going to the shop and a penny got you 8 fruit salad chews or 8 blackjack chews.
Yep.
Then we went decimal and it dropped to 4 fruit salad chews or 4 blackjack chews. And now they're 5 pence each.
Do you want me to tell you a funny story about blackjack? I'll tell you, just to cheer people up. In my younger days, in my teens, sort of late 13, 14, 15, around that time.
Oh, okay. Century.
A century or so ago. I started smoking other substances apart from tobacco, namely solid resin, and came up with a friend of mine with a great idea. Because when you buy a £5 deal, it's cling filmed and it looks like a fucking blackjack. Okay. So you unwrap the blackjack, you get a piece of cling film, and we wrap it up tight, and then I was selling blackjacks for like £5 a piece.
Trouble is, the way it's going, it's not going to be long before the sweets are £5 a piece.
Now I'm going to end up dealing the sweets for £5 each. I mean, look at the other day. Lisa had her dad, who we all know, you know, her dad is not very well. Unfortunately had a fall. To which Lisa is the carer. Lisa had to go straight out the house, straight round to help, you know, blah, 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 deal with that. Now, if they'd had to rely on a government department to do that, it would have taken far longer. Lisa was there far quicker because she was straight out the house, boom, gone.
Yeah.
Deal with it. But it's ridiculous. It really is.
Do you want to get a drink, Steve, and jump on?
If you guys keep making the toys.
Yes, I know, Lisa. Your dad is hard work at the moment, unfortunately. It seems, and I guarantee I'll probably be the same when I get to his age. Well, some would say I'm like it now, but he's what would be known as cantankerous, stubborn.
Oh, just like you then.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is you grow up and, you know, he grew up as a man's man. He was a miner and so on, and he doesn't want to let his freedom go.
I've just had a really sick thought cross my mind.
Oh, God.
Well, that's I mean, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking, you know how speedos are trying to get their term get themselves recategorized? Yeah. Does that mean Lisa's mum was a minor attractive person?
Not that sort of minor, you tit. That is oh, for fuck's sake. As Ian in charge.
I'm sorry.
I would like to apologise for the tit.
You just mixed a horrifically bad dad joke with.
That is the only time that anybody should be minor attracted, if they're minor as in that sort of minor, by the way.
Yeah.
Guys. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm sorry.
No,
I've not
so
been
you
well.
should do.
I have been unwell for the last few days. The result
You
is
think-
my meds don't work as they should, which means my mind goes to strange places.
Days. Days. Try years.
All right, especially bad this time for days.
That's actually quite a good one. I like that. That's quite like that. That's the only time that should be allowed to be used. Minor attracted person. That is, yeah. That
Yeah.
I'd allow it for that, and that's it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh fucking hell! Seen what Shane put in.
Oh wow. Right, because that's not an emergency at all. We can just take our time.
I don't want to know personal details, Shane, but how can I ask? How
Say,
old?
Shane, have you moved? Because
How
otherwise,
old?
surely Castle Hill would have been better.
How old is the said neighbour who had the heart attack? Because a lot of this comes down to age. If you're over the age of about 25, they don't give a flying.
Yeah.
He's up near York.
Yeah, but he
There you go.
yeah, but he was Willoughby way.
Yeah, 76. So technically, and don't take this the wrong way, Shane, he's you can write him off. He's past it. He's old. You can get rid of him. And this is how the government thinks. This is how they're being told. If somebody, and I truly believe there is paperwork out there, management that says if somebody is over the age of, say, 25, put them on a lower tier. We don't need, don't worry about them. I truly believe that at the moment in this country.
I mean, look at the evidence with people being treated and turned away and everything else, and it makes sense.
Obviously, if the government see that I've just said that, they'll kick off and probably say,
Oh, William.
He didn't say that.
I'll say York is a good hospital.
Pleased to hear that, Shane. Yeah. I'm glad he's doing better at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've said
York is good.
We've said it, Lisa. We've said it so many times over the past, couple of years. These people really don't give a stuff about certain. I'd rather not screw the government. Thank you, William. Not my sort of thing, but yes, I agree. I'd like to screw Keir Starmer up the arse with a rusty corkscrew.
You're gonna take a blood torch to it first, right? Sanitary reasons. That's all. That's all.
Oh yeah. Market Waiting. That's near Elvington, isn't it? Out Elvington way.
Yeah, it's not far from Elvington.
I thought I recognised it.
Yeah.
I know where Elvington is very well. I know that area.
Yeah.
York Raceway.
If you're going through Alden to Hull, we used to either go Market Waiting or the M62.
Yeah.
Or as it used to be, the old it was the trunk road.
Oh, I think I know where I'm thinking. Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world around there. Anyway, the countryside, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. because Market Wheaton's right in the low wolds.
It's like God's sort of, what would you say, God's garden, if you like. It's it's lovely bit of the world. Yorkshire's got some lovely countryside. It really has. Yeah, well, that's like a lot of places, unfortunately, Shane. There's a lot of places that fried, when the idiots come out, it's... And again, here we go again with the whole medical thing, getting Lisa. Lisa needs to get sorted. They need to do something for her. I think we're all just about breathing, William. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a hospital appointment again next month.
Check, see if he's still alive.
Yeah, another CT scan to see if that little thing with my lungs. And
why is it as soon as he said to check, see if that little thing, the rest of it went blank? I just wanted to fill it in after that.
Not that little thing.
Yeah, they can't find that.
They'll stop drinking the inches in your spare time, okay?
Shane,
I've been alcohol free for over a year now.
Oh, I know.
Shane, there are some fantastic pubs around Yorkshire if you know where to look.
Oh God, yes.
Some proper old school pubs.
And I've drunk in just about every one of them.
And been drunk in just about every one of them.
Yes. Well, they're checking for that as well because they found the problem with my heart's getting worse as well.
Ship shape and Bristols are in fashion.
Who said Bristol's ever went out of fashion?
Well, I've always liked Bristols, but Tyler's now confused by that statement. I must stop using English slang because he'll not.
Well, I'm catching on here and there, but you guys interchange some shit sometimes on me that other meetings here.
Bristol's.
Fair enough.
As in Bristol City.
Boob tits jugs.
I thought you were trying to reach Tokyo over there.
At least we don't use the Aussie word for them.
Yeah.
That's a horrible word. Norks.
No.
That's what the Aussies call them, though.
If you want a prize Aussie tit, bogan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't understand the hairstyle choice he has made recently. I do not understand the cheetah print, whatever he has going on.
I've been thinking of doing it if we ever do another charity show soon. I'm going to dye my beard like bright pink or just do something completely stupid. Me being me, which I don't have an issue with doing that. I do it for a laugh, yes, things like that. But he actually thinks it looks good. Yeah, that is true.
I wouldn't know. I've not watched Bogan. I watched one video about 3 months ago.
Well, apparently he's got a new product coming out of some sort. Apparently,
another one.
Oh,
for fuck's sake!
And he's waffling on about it. Oh, I'm like he does, waffling on, and I'm doing it. I'm releasing it. I think it's at the Dubai show or something. He was releasing it,
probably.
And I thought, you really are a little cash whore, aren't you? Really are a little cash grab whore. you've been supported left, right, and centre by people in the UK, by people in America,
I added two
but you don't give a flying stuff.
triangles in the front.
And considering this is somebody, and your Bill's T-shirt just reminded me, this is somebody who claims to be a punk. Okay, you ain't no fucking punk. Because a punk is somebody who is dead against authority and money and the system. You ain't a punk.
True.
Mind you, I did have an argument with him about punk music, and he didn't know who half the people I was talking about were.
That doesn't surprise me.
See, William, I was just going to bring that up. The issue I have between the two of them bringing products out, first off, Grimm's not bringing out a product every 3 months. So there's that. And I feel like he's actually doing it for a purpose. He has a certain part of the market he's trying to help, It's not
Grimm
just
I've had Grimm's products in the past, as you know. I've got his RTA here, the Type 2 and things like that. Which is, I personally call my Type 2 the Bill, aka the diabetes. Bad jokes are us. But yeah,
I'll give that. I liked that one. That was a good one.
I've met Grimm in person, and Grimm's absolutely lovely. He really is. He's such a nice man.
Yeah.
He isn't at all up his own arse. He came in and did the charity live with us, and I was expecting somebody who was a bit like, oh, well, I've got this long and I've got to do this, and blah, blah, blah. Nah. Came in, said, well, all right, boys, how you going? Blah, 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 blah. Sat there, chilled out as you like. Absolutely lovely, lovely guy.
Shane, there's a difference. Tony B brought out good products that he believed in.
And they weren't hundreds of dollars either.
I've met Tony as well.
Yeah, I've met Tony. He's a nice guy.
At Expo in the toilets.
Yeah, but less said about that one, the better.
Less said about that, the better. But I met Tony B in the toilets at Expo, and I tell you what, Tony B is really, really good guy. Really good guy. And all that bullshit about, Tony B, he's just using people. He isn't. I'll tell you now. And as for he's doing it for the money, believe me, Tony B does not need the money. Not when you realise that Tony owns his own film company. He's got shares in a radio station. He's a professional photographer, professional radio DJ. He's not short of a quid or two, Tony. And he's a nice bloke.
But one of the things with Tony B was when he brought out the Pulse, his whole aim was to do what he did. And that was smash the AIO market.
AIO.
But that was his aim. That was his aim with the Pulse AIO. Was to smash that market.
And he did.
And the same with the Squonk mod.
And he did.
Yeah.
Because
in both cases, those markets were saturated with high end and nothing anybody could afford.
With the I'm a Todd fan brigade.
Yeah.
I paid £400 for my mod, that's a mechanical mod, and it came in a plastic bag from somewhere in Latvia. Yeah. But anyway, least said about Todd, the better. But I've got people. You're entitled to your opinion, Shane, but having met him personally, I think he's a nice guy. He really is.
Well, that's the thing. At that point, wasn't it mostly Billabong?
Yeah, which he did, William. You know, it was the billet box. He did. You know, he did, and we've had things like things like this, and he took the price. He took the price of the billet box, which a billet box is what, 280 stock.
Well, no, at that
Yeah.
time, the billet box was about 400.
Oh no, that's why once you start adding bits to it, they go ridiculous.
That was 280 was the billet box without a bridge or a tank.
And the stock plates and everything else. Yeah.
The thing is, Shane, right, without going too much into vaping on the show, that you've got the V Prime Pod mods. Does it work for you? Do you get a good vape? Does it give you the nicotine you need? Do you like it? If all of those, the answer is yes, then it works.
Yeah.
I don't care if the pod that you're vaping on is bright fluorescent pink with yellow bits on it. I don't give a shit. Does it work for you? Yes, it does. Right. That's good. Right, off we go.
Yeah, but if I buy that bright pink M-Turk mech I was looking at, I'll get shit from you. Don't even act like I won't.
M-Turk.
Well, yeah, of course you will. Would you expect anything else, Tyler?
I will take this out.
I mean,
everybody.
You know, I mean, you know full well we'd be completely merciless with you.
the only saving grace of it being pink is it was done by Palmer's Powders.
Yeah. If it's done by Palmer's, buy it because I guarantee the finish will be fucking good.
They still have the metal flake root beer color in stock, and this is that K Vapors Italian mech or Spanish mech that he had done a few years back during COVID. It's down to like $130. That's with the Palmer coating. But the issue I have is the way that the metal sleeve on the inside threads in. It's an outer Delrin sleeve.
Yeah.
And I know obviously if you're careful with it, it'll be all right. But man, you cross that thing one time.
Oh, they scratch up to hell.
That's a Palmer's Powders.
Yeah.
I say, is that the Bonza?
That's the Bonza.
I remember you getting that.
Thank you to one Mr. John.
Yeah.
You know, was donated to me, which was very nice of him. Bless him. I hope this like I do own things that Bogan has produced, but I've got to a point now where I just can't agree with what he says.
Well, and if the design process and like look at the Parsons, for example, why would you put that type of board with that type of battery and that short of a platform for a side by side? Most people are going to pull a side by side. They're going to probably have most of the time a higher end RTA board. That's what 22.
Yeah,
but it's going to be a much taller RTA. It's not going to be something that's actually going to fit properly on that. It's going to stick just as high off that mod as it is most box mods.
I mean, high end RTAs. You're looking at stuff like K-Funds and. I mean, to me, the best draw of anything is stuff like that. That's an original.
Exactly. Look at the height of it.
But
on that side by side, you only get halfway up that tank.
I mean, that's a K-Fun. You know, where are we? There.
Yeah.
One is 120 watt plus RTA, the other's mouth to lung, and yet but that's K-Fun for you.
Trust me, William, I actually had a little bit of faith when he said he was bringing on a new Bonds RDA, and I was actually excited to see the build deck on it. And then I saw it, and my entire changed.
The Dead Rabbit, the Aegis, And there's a few other that I can't really think of at the minute. There's a few other things
Like the TF series.
that they should have killed off that name years ago. The original Aegis mods were good mods. They were quite good.
Oh, if I could get another original one, I would actually buy one.
Yeah.
The original Dead Rabbit was not a bad art, and some of the RDAs from the original Dead Rabbit RDAs were quite good. The Dead Rabbit Pro, things like that, are quite good. But you've gone on for too long with it. Everybody's sick of it now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's very...
Don't shame. Right, let me tell you something. What is the highest wattage you vape at? What is the highest
On
wattage?
a daily basis type thing.
What is your go-to highest wattage? And there's a reason I say this. Because of what the Voltrove is.
What, a
Is
better
because-
machine Steam Crave?
The Voltrove is, I personally think, is not as good as people like to think it is.
The biggest problem with the Voltrove is whatever your highest wattage is still not high enough to start with the Voltrove.
The Voltrove, especially when you're talking about the 41s, you're looking at a
Double
minimum.
that wattage, man, easily.
You're looking at a minimum on the Voltrove 200 watts up.
Yeah.
And you're looking at least 4 mil series coils to fill that space.
Get yourself that.
Even the 30 mil Voltrove, you're looking at doubling your what wattage you need, Trey.
I need the door.
That 30 mil Voltrove needs at least 140, 150 watts.
I'm at 120 at the minute.
No,
They're ideal until the wire falls off for the grounding wire. If you want a good
William, I have an original Roadmaster in the box with all the parts, never used if you want it.
if you want a good mod for high wattage, it needs to be a 4S LiPo.
Yeah.
Something that will take dish out 200 watts plus all day long.
and doesn't have 26 gauge wire.
Yeah.
Which is what the steam Craves have. It's 26 gauge. It is not thick enough for the powers they're claiming.
No, William. No.
I have looked at them because they've had the XLs on sale, the 2700 version. The issue I have with that is the board they have in it. Because it's their personal board. I don't trust it.
There's proper wiring for you.
That's properly insulated, actually wrapped and sealed the right way and everything, you know. And look how much thicker your 510 wire is.
And 22 gauge wire.
Here you go. This is putting the side back on it. Ready?
It's perfect for even Captain Toad.
It's like putting a car door back on an old Rover. It's that heavy, the door on it. I wouldn't even bother with the hogs. The hogs have had no end of problems with the boards going down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Look what company it comes from, and look at the quality that has declined over the last few years, horribly.
Oh, Steve,
and they started low anyway.
Well, yeah.
Steam Crave V4 coming out.
Oh no!
And guess how likely I am to buy that?
I've had my post already removed off the Steam Crave site because have you put decent screws in it this time? It's been removed. They've removed the post. So that means we're just going to use the cheap shit that we've always used.
I swear, they must use like gallium or something for the screws.
No, William, if I start talking about more old Jaguars, XJ,
Yeah, for me, it's
XJR13.
not. Yeah, it's not the Rovers, it's the Jags. Most of
XJR13 aluminium body. See, he's got all strangely overcome now. Oh. Anyway, moving on while he's not talking. That is very, very true, Lisa. It was very boring and very toxic. Very, very toxic. That's why what most of us have stepped away from it, because it's just complete and utter crap. Yeah.
Steve, I guarantee, absolutely guarantee, I will not buy a hog. I never have and I never will. I've looked at two and thought, that is badly made.
I think Steve is on about a Jaguar XJR13. That's what looks good.
Now, if you were talking the old XK120, then we're in.
All 4 inches.
Leave Mank out of it.
You know, Shane, there's a lot of the old cars, especially this time of year, you'll get all the classic stuff come back out. And there's a lot of people, you know, unfortunately, there'll probably be a lot of people that will have to sell it with the way the situation's going money-wise. But there are a lot of people with classic cars.
Well, I've been watching Marketplace over here is covered in they still need work, obviously, because they're projects, but some decent 70s and 80s cars that you just don't see.
The thing is, the 70s cars are still under the exemption at the moment.
I'm wondering how long it is before the government's going to pull that.
Because they're MOT and tax exempt, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
How long's it going to be before the government pull that? You see, I'd quite happily drive a classic car. I really would.
I would love to have either the Van der Plough or the Jag we had when I was a kid. Even the Van der Plough was absolutely gorgeous. And the engine was complete. It was the old Austin 1300 engine, but it was completely reworked. Yeah. I mean, nut and bolt reworked.
Yeah.
Because they went and blueprinted the engine, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were completely reworked at the factory.
Yeah.
Different manufacturing line in them days. Proper wood, proper luxury.
Well, that is not good, Lisa. If the glucose shots aren't hitting in a few minutes, that is... You need to be seeing a specialist quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
That's dangerous.
That's a long time for that to kick in.
A glucose shot should hit within 5 minutes.
Should, yeah. Definitely, something isn't working properly there, is it? But no, it's
Yeah, so am I, Lisa.
yeah.
No.
Because
No, they need to run some tests to figure out what's going on. That's not good.
Well, we know that, Lisa. We know you're defective. Yeah, but
But like the rest of us, that factory, it is what it is.
talking of defective, where is Lee?
Hey, you leave
Oh, I
Lee in his
know.
private time in the back room with the guitars alone.
You're probably right. He probably is in the back room doing something with his guitar. So he's doing his Lord of the Riffs at the minute. So he's working. That's a poor excuse for not turning up, you know. What are you doing? I'm working. Well, that's a shit excuse.
oh, so he's got a few days off.
Yeah, he's got his Lord of the Riffs thing going on at the minute on his channel. So
Yeah.
that should be good. You usually get some good stuff, some good people with some good music comes out of that.
But
I'm going to ask a question. It's pointless, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Has anybody seen anything they're going to buy this week? Didn't think so. Right, moving on.
I got a couple things in this week. Found my VG was back in sale. So instead of being like $40 from another site, it was like 22. So I grabbed another gallon.
22. Ooh, you would hate to know what I paid for VG.
It's hard to come by at the right price here anymore, especially at that quantity.
I think
the last 2 gallons I bought cost me £23
For both?
for 2 gallons.
Damn.
UK gallons, sorry, it wasn't. It's 2 5 litres.
You mean the proper measurement of gallons, not the Americans' gallon?
So I got that. Got 25 count of 60 ml bottles for like $10, which isn't bad. And I redid a decent supply of all my major flavoring concentrates that I use. I got those all on 120s.
Oh God, he's got more cactus.
Maybe.
He likes the taste. He likes the taste.
I might have got a spare bottle of cactus, another bottle of grape, you know.
Here's a thought for you all. He vapes on a mech and he likes the taste of a prick.
But for some reason, the tube mods just feel a little bit, specific. So the box mods work.
In his private time, he likes a stacked mod.
Hey, we're not going back years and years ago with the 4 extension stacked mech.
He prefers more than 4 inches.
Hey, you admitted that yourself before the show, so I don't want to hear.
Now, I'll tell you what he needs. He needs that jewel that Johnny made.
Yeah.
No,
Johnny made a jewel stacked 26 21700s.
Yeah.
So I did see one of the old MCM mechs the other day on an older review that had the booster pack for it to make it a double series side by side with 2 RDAs. Why? Why? And of course, the chuff cap that came with the custom RDAs to make it all go into one mouthpiece.
You
I'll
could
put,
make
I'll
one.
put, you know, I'll put it this way: he used the 40mm Valhalla,
Oh,
and
you
it
have-
looked minute, didn't it, Matt? That with the 40mm Valhalla, the Valhalla looked tiny.
It did look comical. I've
The
not
funny-
seen or heard anything from Johnny. Actually, I think he's
No,
got
he had that roof collapse, didn't he?
well, he had the roof collapse, but his mental health was not good.
Yeah.
So,
No,
and then he got a lot of shit because he wasn't getting products out on people to time. Well, give the guy a break. But
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of burned him out more than anything, besides his personal stuff, was people were getting on him for their wait times and everything else. Dude, he's got shit going on. It's a custom being done by one person. You need to give him time to do it.
you know what people are like.
I still think the funniest thing though was watching Chris's missus using that stack Joe. Because it was nearly as bloody tall as her.
It's the first time she's had something that size in her hands. I thought Steve was going to pop on. What happened to him? No, he's probably dealing with Jasper.
Probably.
I'm not surprised you're not feeling safely. So it's.
Well, think about it. You would have your go-to, which is your glucose shots to get you at least level fast enough to feel somewhat in range. For it taking that long to hit, I can see the worry in it.
Yeah.
That I would be seeing the doctor and pushing hard for cancellation. Oh God, forgotten the department now. Endocrinology. You need to see an endocrinology consultant yesterday.
Oh, here he is.
Knowing Maddie's been sitting in the waiting room 20 minutes, but
Welcome aboard, dear fellow.
Thank you very much. Ahoy.
Hey, buddy.
Oh,
You all right, Steve?
All right.
more to the
How's
point.
Jasper?
Is Jasper all right?
Yeah, he's asleep.
Bless him.
Got me a burger and a couple of veggie fingers. He's still up for that. Tell ya. It's like cooking ganatees. I got to say though, at the beginning of the show I did catch, and all I got to say is, up Trump and up Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Help yours.
Okay, now.
Oh dear.
Anyone put a steel spike in a potato gun to see what happens? It's just a thought.
Look, the evil one has arrived. Oh,
Hey, Lee.
You all right, Lee?
I think it's, I want to go to America. Go sit somewhere like California or New York in the highest position I can with a nice lazy boy chair with loads of beers and vape and just sit there and watch it all unfold. Because that's what's going to happen in the end there.
It's
just sit back and watch the world burn.
I mean, that's where we're at. What's the point of anything else, really?
But yeah, well, you're back due a civil war, I think, Tyler, your country.
you've got enough people. Like this one actually makes me laugh. I've got a guy that I work with, and he has been pro-Trump through this whole thing. I voted for him. He's going to save us, this and that.
Oh, he's a moron.
I've had a couple conversations just bringing up events and political actions that he's done over the last 2 months. Now he comes to me almost every day. Did you hear what Trump did? Did you hear what the dumbass did this time? Oh, he's a dumbass now.
No, he's always been a dumbass.
No, it's just from his perspective, all of a sudden, from being the most supportive motherfucker in the world to, why did he do that? That he wasn't supposed to do that.
Bill and I earlier, before Steve came, because I was on this afternoon chatting to Bill, setting the show up, and then Steve came in. But Bill and I were talking, and we were talking about America and about Americans. And we were saying, your issue in America is quite simple. You have an education system that doesn't educate anybody.
Nope. And now you've got him cutting full funding pretty much for the Department of Education.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, though, Tyler, I agree with that. Totally agree with you. Send it back to the States. Send it back to the States and let the States deal with it at the end of the day. Because people have moaned about it. Oh, he's killed it by executive order. Yeah, well, the Department of Education was created by executive order in 1979 by Jimmy Carter. And since Jimmy Carter signed it into legislation and the Department of Education was born, $4 trillion they've spent.
See, the issue I have with the whole thing is they literally had to warn us that my oldest might have programs cut because of this. This was actually an issue at one point. I mean, it might still be an issue. We'll find out, unfortunately.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Tyler, it all gets cut. I mean, we got the cuts they're going to make in this country to our education system because we're going just down the same road. Now they're going to attack our academies.
Here's one for you, Tyler. I didn't tell Tyler tonight we were going to do a quiz. Tyler, who were the founding fathers of America?
Dude, I haven't learned that since I was in 3rd grade.
And?
Where did they come from?
Well, not here.
They were known as the Pilgrim Fathers, yeah? You know that bit?
Yeah.
Who came from Boston, or they set sail from Boston in the UK. So, to all the Americans out there is 2 Bostons, and the one in the UK was there a long time before Boston, Massachusetts. The ship they arrived on was called the Mayflower. Got quite educational tonight, hasn't it? But the issue with your country is, and I think we are to blame, the UK. Namely the Pilgrim Fathers, because the Pilgrim Fathers' religion. The Pilgrim Fathers' religion is where your religious background comes from, and this stupid religion in America controls everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you and your family are partially to blame because technically your descendants going back a few hundred years would have been Lutheran. You know who Martin Luther is?
Yeah.
Come on then.
Come on then, who was he?
That was fucking bibliography in back in my fucking head. Like I said, you guys got to remember, like, education as far as especially outside of the U.S., you didn't.
I'm not on about Martin Luther King.
That's why I'm outside the U.S.
Martin Luther was the man who banged the sign on the church door saying that he wanted to change religion. But Martin Luther was also the man who the Nazi church, the Nazi religious side, took their doctrine from. So there is more proof that the American system is based on a Nazi system.
The Amish system is also based on Lutherans.
Mm-hmm.
But it's based on the religious side more, which is it's better. But let's be honest, the Amish, wow, it's a cult.
I was literally going to say the exact same thing. Well,
You pronounce your ends really strangely.
Well, think it's like these other, groups in, I think, was it Utah or whatever, that have these,
Morons. Mormons.
yeah. And
Right
you've got these
first time.
compounds and everything else, and God knows what's going on behind these doors. And then you find out from, unfortunately, TV shows, and it's horrific.
If you can educate a child in any country, religion shouldn't be at the top of the list.
No.
But it always has been. It always will be.
It always has been and always will be. I saw you know about that, Matt. I saw an article. A 19-year-old girl from New Hampshire is suing the education board there because she's just graduated college. She's 19 years old and she can't read and barely write. And how did she do it? Using these dictation programs on the computer. So basically, if she was to set an essay, she would just turn it on, say what she needed to say, it would print it out for her, and she would hand it in. And they knew this, yet they still did nothing. They still kept passing her, still kept giving her grades. And so now she's got a college degree now, or college diploma, and she's now suing the education board for neglect.
The issue you've got in America is it's their education system is so comical. Their exam system is a multi-choice answer system.
Well, literally, and most of the schools now, especially around here, you're more worried about having enough armed police officers in the school to keep everybody from killing each other than you are about educating anybody.
Is the answer A or answer B? Do not worry if you get it wrong. You can do the test again. I mean, Jesus Christ, you're not so much educating people as
here's one that'll get you, Matt. We actually had open book tests.
Yeah.
So you'd get a Scantron sheet, which is A, B, C, D, whatever it is.
And we were talking about that as well.
But you're literally going to sit there with your entire textbook open and allowed to file through every page and find every answer.
Which is
you're not retaining any of that. You're literally saying, "Oh, this, yep, okay, B, cool, next one."
Yeah.
But it gets worse than that because the American system spoon feeds everything.
Yeah.
Rather than the British system, which gets you to think.
Well, it used to.
You to. Well, when we went through school, it used to be about thinking and learning to think and reason logically.
My biology teacher, Mr. C. Darwin.
Was that before or after we went to the Galapagos Islands?
Oh, before. Good old Charlie Darwin. At least we have had an education system. And yes, Lee, we did talk about the cancelling Easter diversity bollocks. Yeah.
My physics teacher used to teach me that, Mr. I. Newton.
Good old Isaac.
Yeah, but you look now. I mean, they were comparing the other day. A 10-year-old Chinese kid at his school, his exercise books. They're learning quantum physics at 10 years old. In America, what are they learning? Oh, I don't like my dick anymore. I'm going to chop it off.
Well, what you've got
some of them are still at don't eat the brown bits. It's shit.
So you just described the entirety of the food here.
Yeah.
That's
We were
why.
discussing that as well.
So this is why now they're going to up in arms now. Trump's about to cancel the education system because now they can't fleece it for all they can, and you'll see now an even more upturn in Eastern kids coming over to learn in America because they're the only ones who are going to be able to pay for the bugger.
Why do you
Trust
think
me, it's already shifted that way pretty hard.
UK, a lot of the colleges and universities are paid for by the Chinese?
Yeah.
And I don't care what you say about the Chinese. These people are seriously fucking intelligent.
There's a lot
And
of
they're willing to learn.
yeah, and the other one is there's a lot of Indians in, particularly if you go into engineering and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
they are actually working for doctorates.
yeah, they are.
See, they're going about these wars that are going on now in other countries. China doesn't have to go to war with anybody. China's just taking over the world, the same as. Do you know a bloke called Steve Pachenik? Steve Pachenik was a CIA operative, and a lot of people say that the Jack Ryan character was based off him. The
Yeah,
bloke who wrote the book's based off him. Now, Steve Pachenik is the one who brought communism down, and do you know who brought it down? By finance.
yep.
You ain't gonna bring Russia down by armed military force. Don't care which country it is. But they brought down the Iron Curtain, and he brought it down by simple finance because he was a financial expert for the CIA. But he was also, like I said, it was Jack Ryan was loosely based his books off. It's the same in this country. James Bond, they say James Bond was based from Christopher Lee. Because Christopher Lee was a Secret Service agent and was good friends with
Ian Fleming.
with Ian Fleming. But they were very good friends because they was at college together and all that. But yeah, so China don't need to invade countries to bring them down. They're just doing it by monetary and sending all their people out.
Yeah.
Touch it.
They'll do it academically instead of by military force.
And the thing is, academically, they are doing better than any of the Western world.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Bill. So them sending them all out, it's all over the world to the what they call the first world nations, sending them out all there, and basically that's just taking it over.
The
Because they-
power of the pen.
They say the penny's mightier than the sword, and it's right.
It is.
China don't need to invade nobody to take over the world. They've already took over America, and now they took over America financially.
It's just that America generally
Not even just financially. Think about the amount of products and everything that come over here. I mean, if they actually cut off all shipments in, there'd be nothing here at all.
Well, that's what Trump is trying to do.
What Trump's forgetting is there's nobody in America who knows how to make anything.
Correct.
Well, no, they lost that industry decades ago.
Yeah.
The only way he's going to get it back, as you keep saying, we'll give him incentives. It's not incentives, it's bribes.
Yeah, but the problem is, it doesn't matter how much money he throws at it, how many bribes he throws at it. It's going to take at least 10 years for any possible skill level to come back into industry.
Mm-hmm.
So your
Okay.
car industry,
The amount of older guys that still do this stuff and actually know what they're doing are getting that age now where they can't do classes and teach a dozen what they do.
Yeah.
Look at what he's done now. When he was inaugurated, and just before he was inaugurated, what did he announce? He was going to get someone like $150 billion investment from Honda to build a factory in America, and a $250 billion investment from another Japanese company to come over and start producing products in America. And it's going great, see. But you see, what you don't realise is these Japanese companies, who are they actually controlled by? The Chinese.
Is it Michael?
Because the
Mike,
Chinese,
Hey,
'cause the
Mike.
Chinese have got their hands in everything.
yeah,
I mean, those are, I think, I think Honda and Toyota are some of our biggest suppliers for work where I work and everything right now, as far as like the scale of jobs.
Yeah, because they're going to take advantage now of Trump's incentives. Whereas if you make the product in America, it's not going to cost you so much. Yeah, no problem, we'll do that. They do it in this
Trump-
country. I mean,
Trump-
Toyota, actually, Toyota and Nissan and Honda, they actually make cars in this country and they're shipped back to Japan.
and this is what people don't seem to realise is how much Far East investments happened in right across Europe.
Yeah, in the last, 30 years, it's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Everyone's got too comfortable. Everyone's gotten way too comfortable with, oh, I can go online or Amazon, whatever it is, and order anything from anywhere that I want. It'll be here in 2 days.
Yeah.
You know,
It's also
from where the money is actually exchanged to.
It's also your work ethic as well. I mean, you look at Toyota and that in Sunderland, and Honda and Nissan. Now, our English car manufacturing, if you worked on, say, the track and you was building engines, if something happened and they said, "Can you go across to the bodies and give them a hand because they're short staffed?" No, not my job. It's not my job. In them factories, it's everybody's job. So if somebody goes off sick, they'll say, right, get somebody from another division over here and start making this. They'll say, okay. If they can't do that, then they'll fetch the managers out the offices and get them on the track working.
Yeah.
That's how they work.
But everybody, when they go through their training program and up at and in Sunderland, they go through every section.
Yeah, everybody knows everybody's job. So if there's a problem, they can deal with it. In our
Yeah.
our companies, no, because it wasn't our job. I mean, my dad worked at Rover when the Mini first came out, and it was quite easy. If someone says, "Oh, I'm knackered, I need a break," that's okay. So somebody took a spanner into the track. Track had closed up. That was it for an hour while they was trying to find the spanner or whatever they dropped in there. So they just stand back, sit down, have a fag, cup of tea.
The spanner was usually the person using it.
Yeah.
The
Spanner took
problem
the
is,
spanner.
Tyler, think of what is in America made by America and uses all American materials.
Kennedy,
What?
that's about all I got for you.
Yeah,
There
except
isn't.
there isn't though, because Kennedy
Really?
get the stainless steel and the brass from abroad.
I mean, there's really nothing left.
There
I mean,
isn't.
we don't even have the Goodyear factory doing everything here anymore.
Well, Goodyear tyres were never that great anyway, to be honest. I always preferred
No, but it
Michelin.
was a staple for Ohio.
Michelin were always good because they were made in Europe. Bridgestone are Japanese. Firestone, as far as I'm concerned, are cheap shit tyres.
Yeah, you got Dunlop.
Dunlop were quite good.
Scotland. They were from Scotland, were they? Dunlop.
Well,
Yeah.
the original guy was, wasn't he?
Believe it or not, though, the only tyres I've had fail on me were Dunlops.
Just trying to think what if I've ever had a tyre fail. Avon.
I actually had a set of tyres let go in my car and finish up spinning going uphill.
That's quite impressive, though.
Really?
And that was a full set of Dunlops on the car.
Had it in for you, mate.
Yeah. A week,
You've only got.
week,
You've
a
only
week
got.
later, a week later when I got paid, I bought another set of Pirellis.
Mike,
You've
I've
only
been looking at new options for knives and everything. Yeah, the ones that I actually want for the quality.
I mean,
Oh,
who would you class as the all American company? Would be Apple. Yeah, not one single product from Apple is made in America.
Hey, we got Ford. We'll be okay.
Most of Ford's not made in America.
No, most of the Ford
No.
stuff in America is made in Germany and
And that's the
Belgium.
best part about it is all their like recent advertisements have been we've been number one in America for this many years, and it's all because you guys buy our vehicles. No one else is going to buy your vehicles.
most of your pickup trucks that are all American are made in fucking Mexico.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the
And
best part. You've got these guys in like Texas that have these, $45,000 lift mods put into these trucks. Full suspension, everything redone, new tire trims, all that. Oh yeah, I'm an American. Where did those products that you just put on your American truck come from?
The same country as the truck.
Yeah, Mexico, probably.
Yeah.
We'll be talking. Was it the best-selling lift for your cars and all that? Is Yokohama, and where they're based in Japan.
Yeah. That was the company we were trying to remember the other week, wasn't it, Matt?
Yokohama.
Yeah.
Best like suspension manufacturers, without a doubt, nothing in it, are all Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olin's Japanese. Showa Japanese. Nitron Japanese. These are all the racing people. All Japanese companies. And their engineering level pisses on anything that America can produce.
We try to get a contract with one of the Chinese companies for doing a sprinkler pipe for them, right? Then they let us know we had to have, I can't remember what the actual code was for it, but it was a certain level, obviously, for certification of welding, right? Over here, they said we had to get to like a 500, 600, something like that. Over there, they're to 9,000.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I was in the car trade, we had an Opel Manta GTE, a gold one, really nice car. Took it out for a run the one day, and I come back, and my gaffer said, "What's it like?" I says, "It runs like shit." So we took it up to the performance centre in Brawley Hill, and they said, "Oh, yeah, your cam's gone." I goes, "Okay." He says, "How much for a new cam?" He said, "Well, which one do you want?" He said, "I can do you a Recon one for 75 quid, or you can have a Kent cam for 500 quid." And I said, "Well, what's the difference in power?" He says, "You'll probably get about another 5 horsepower out of a Kent cam." I said, "I'll have the Recon one instead then, please." And he says, "Yeah, no problem." See, it's another myth about when they're, jazzing up your cars. When you're talking internal works, not that much intolerances. I mean, it's like in this country now, if you look at 95% of the engines and gearboxes that made for Formula One cars are all English companies, and they're all
Yeah.
within 3.5 miles of each other.
Yep.
Yep.
If you actually look onto the estate where these companies are, they're all on one estate. You can actually stand on top of a hill and just look out to it, and you can see all the companies that use to race
Just
their
Yeah.
engine
Just down the
gearboxes.
road. Yeah, it's just down the road from Silverstone Circuit.
95% of all Formula One companies, I think the only ones that don't use them are Mercedes and Ferrari.
Yeah.
Everybody else either uses one of their engines or one of their gearboxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike, I've been looking at well, problem is I don't want to spend too much on it because I'm going to use it for work, and I don't want to beat the hell out of a good blade. But I'm looking to get a fixed blade instead of a folder because I've always had issues with the mechanism and folders, always, because metal dust and shit gets in there and they never function right after a certain amount of time.
Well, clean it.
Yeah.
Do you know how much magnetized metal dust goes through my shop?
You know
And-
that thing that's on the end of a rubber line and that the other end connects to a compressor?
Yeah, they don't drain it; it shoots water.
Oh God! You got no
Yeah.
water trap on it.
No, it's in mind. Keep in mind, it's an industrial sized compressor that is sitting outside.
And
So every time the weather gets below anything, whatever, it literally will spew water, and they don't drain it ever.
where
Oh,
I
no.
worked, the traps were empty, cleared 4 times a day. Plus, we had line traps to every outlet.
You should have line traps about every 8 to 10 feet.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to think how many hundreds and hundreds of feet, thousands of feet probably of airlines are in that shop,
And
and they only shut the compressor off once a week at the most.
Yeah, but you should usually you have your solid compressor. You run hard lines around the workshops. Then you run your lines off, and every line you run off, you just put a water trap between.
Yeah, they don't.
Jesus Christ! There we go again. American
Well,
manufacturing doing it on the
You
cheap.
wonder why the fact that we all use pneumatic belt sanders for the for the pipe and everything, right? These are like $160 roughly a piece. I might go through one every 2-3 months easily.
we used to actually have a pressure and a water trap
Yeah.
on any of the outlets where we were running things like there were variable pressure outlets with the water trap, and anything where we were running things like the pneumatic drivers. Because those pneumatic drivers were over £1,000.
Oh yeah.
Because these were precision 2000 RPM drivers.
I'd say stainless Mike because he's a dirty bastard.
Yeah. And from what he says, it'd have to be stainless, really.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Because he's a dirty bastard.
I mean, I'd like to stay under about $100 if it's going to be something that I'm taking to and from work. But I know that's hard to come by for decent quality.
In that case, just look for a blade with a 1428. It's an older steel now, but it's reliable and it's easy to sharpen.
That's what I was just going to ask: is how's the sharpening on it?
14C28. It's easy to sharpen.
Yeah.
Just touch it up every week and strop it every day. If you're using it a lot. It's that simple.
That's one thing I never learned about with steel grades and everything, which is horrific because of what I do for a living. But
I was going to say, how can you work in a fucking workshop? Know about?
Matt, I've sent you pictures of the pipe. How do we run?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, put it this way:
that's not a quality.
We call them trapeze. It's literally a certain length of pipe with a steel rod welded on the end of it, so that in case there's movement and earthquake, the slide rings can't slide off the end of the pipe, and it's for drop ceiling type shit, right? Tell me why they decided, because it's cheaper to have us use galvanized threaded rod for the ends of them instead of just round bar. So every other tack you do to keep these rods on the end of this pipe it's ballooning out from the impurities in the fucking weld.
Yeah. And if you want to know where to check your steel, just go on Knife Nerds. It's an American site, and it'll go through all of your steels.
Okay.
Give you all of the properties for different steels.
High carbon steels are better.
Yes.
High carbon steels, tool steels, stainless steels. It'll go through the whole lot.
But it does depend
give you
what you want the knife. It depends what you want the knife for.
I mean, like I said, it's just for work. It's literally going to be chopping cardboard more than anything. You know what I mean? I know how horrific that is for an edge.
Yeah, you want quite.
In that case, go for D2. Just get a D2 and keep on top of. Just keep the blade oiled.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder to sharpen, but it'll hold an edge and they're cheap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. True.
And the other thing is, if you're chopping cardboard, if you get a sheep's foot blade, it's dead
Yeah.
simple to sharpen because it's a straight edge and it
Yeah.
doesn't slip out when you're cutting cardboard because you've no curve on it. Simple.
No, it's a good idea. I mean, we have, the disposable razor knives and everything, but they don't last for anything. They're so flimsy, they snap in the brake lines constantly.
Yeah.
So I want to get something that I can actually rely on. I'm not sitting here snapping a blade every so often and having to go get a new one every week or two.
A new job.
I
Yeah.
thought
So sound a stupid one. It is a folding knife. QSP. D2 blade, QSP Penguin, straight blade, reliable as anything and holds an edge. And they know how to heat treat.
yeah.
If you're only cutting cardboard, it's not too bad anyway.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm not like hacking into anything or, I don't need like a hatchet quality setup.
Right. QSP is probably the best value you'll find.
Same time, there's part of me that wants to buy a big Bowie and just put it on my hip and walk around with that. But they might say something about that.
Well, don't put it on your hip. Put it on your back instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah,
seen?
I
Have
just
you
pull
seen
that up in my
Crocodile?
back and cut a cardboard box off.
Have you seen Crocodile Dundee?
Oh yeah,
It's
Multiple
personal carry.
times.
Personal carry, mate.
Yeah.
Over here, you've got a blade length.
Or if you want a devastating knife, which is not, smaller than a Bowie knife, get yourself a nice quality cookery.
I like those. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
You can get a decent cookery for not a lot of money nowadays.
No.
I
I
happen
did
to have
see
the
some
name of the
small Ford companies doing really decent pocket size hatchets. Actually, I mean they're done well. It's just how ergonomic would it really be?
Well, the same trouble would be for a cookery as well. But I can give you the name of a company in Nepal to buy them from. So they are proper cookeries. They're not replicas.
Yeah, which is a big difference.
A cookery should come with the cookery itself and 2 small skinning knives.
Yeah.
I do have 3 or 4 cookeries.
That's one knife I've never had as a cookery.
Very, very good weapon.
Very,
Sorry, knife.
very versatile as well.
Easy to sharpen if they're good steel.
But I mean, if you want to do a bit of research on it, Knife Center,
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
Now,
Or
is this like
just-
the last time you tried to show me a YouTube channel, Bill?
Hey,
Is this like the last time you tried to show me a YouTube channel?
That wasn't
No.
the YouTube channel.
no, this one,
on this blacksmith.
just YouTube the Knife Center. It's a legitimate channel. They do pieces on all the different blade steels, the different uses for blade steels, and what's coming out. And you can go back over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
They also have the FAQs. where people go, "Oh, I'm thinking of this knife, but I'm not sure if it'll be suitable, or would it be better with such and such a knife?" And they'll go through it, and they'll weigh different knives up against each other.
Okay.
I mean, there's 200 episodes of the FAQs now, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, they've got that useful little cleaver on there as well, haven't they?
I like that.
Yeah, that's the
I
that's
like
the answer to anything.
Yeah, I
That
like
cleaver.
cleavers.
Yeah, but that one's what, 3.5 foot long, with an 18-inch blade, about 8 inches deep. What's it called? The bone splitter or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a useful little blade.
Yeah. It's the problem with that, Shane, keeping a knife in your bedside table is if you actually used it in this country, you would be the one who'd get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep something in your bedside table in case somebody breaks into your house, keep something like a screwdriver. Because the police can't actually do you for having a screwdriver by the side of your bed.
Don't matter if it's self-defense if you use a blade.
Well, like Matt learned the hard way. Put a baseball glove in the boot with it. I mean, what?
I don't think you get away with that one nowadays. If you're gonna have weapons in the house, you want something that can be disguised as it could be used in that place. So if you've got a screwdriver in your bedside cabinet, you could say, "Oh yeah, I was using it because I was putting furniture together." If you've got a fucking great Bowie knife in the bedside drawer, they're going to say, "Well, why the fuck have you got a Bowie knife in your bedside cabinet?"
Yeah.
And the UK,
over here, the answer to that is I ran out of room in the other cabinet.
Yeah.
In this country, though, the problem is the second you pick up a knife, you're breaking the law.
Yep. Self-defense does not come into it.
No. Self-defense is not a defense for picking up a knife.
Well, that's like over here. If I get attacked by somebody and I am carrying and I pull that out, and at any point in that argument, whatever, I point it at them directly and I tell them get away, this or whatever, I can get caught for potential kidnapping charges because holding them against their will, taking with a deadly weapon, even if they're attacking me.
The best answer is to shoot and make sure you kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One story.
Yeah, I quite like that police chief in Florida on about it. He says if you break into somebody's house and you get
Oh, I
shot,
saw that.
don't worry about it. We'll just come across and pick the body up and take it away. And better still, if you buy a gun and you want to know how to use it, we do training courses every 2 weeks at the firing range, free of charge.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I mean, some of the states though now, I mean, you're even allowed automatic blades. We're not even allowed to own an automatic blade.
Nope.
No.
In this country, that's a prison sentence just owning it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, I've got a letter from Her Majesty's Customs and Revenue. Yeah, all I was ordering was an assisted opening knife, and they gave me the option. I could fight for it and get the knife, and then they'd do me for an automatic knife, or I could just let them retain it. And that wasn't even an automatic; that was just an assisted.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
But I wanted an assisted knife because of the arthritis.
And over here, I mean, I had one when I was a freaking teenager, and it was only a side button full automatic, flip blade.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, those springs and them things, you better hold on to the scales of that knife because it's going to flip the whole thing right out of your hand if you ain't careful.
If you're going
Yeah,
to,
but you can get a two-way OTF.
yeah,
I mean,
I
shit.
always
One of the gun
prefer-
suppliers that I get emails from just had a new section of suppressors added for home delivery.
I always preferred stiletto knives. I
Yes.
think
Light, quick.
stilettos are very pretty.
Oh, the lovely knives. I've got a stiletto.
Most of them, of course, Italian made.
Yeah. Bone-handled stiletto. And that's kept wrapped up with my ritual stuff.
Shane, it is an attitude like that that ends up with the partner usually getting stabbed.
Oh, so he's looking for a Jeffrey Dahmer type sandwich. Okay.
Yeah. At least you got it done in the end, Lace. At least it got done in the end.
It's like
No.
it's like Craig's vape cabinet, as long as the doors are shut, it's not really that full.
Trouble is when you open it and everything falls out.
Yep.
I did think Craig might have made an attempt to actually turn up in chat tonight.
He's probably feasting on haggis.
No, he's gone up to Scotland to. I'm trying to think of the correct terminology to put the ashes, his father's ashes, spread the ashes
Yeah.
where his dad's passed. So hopefully he has a reasonably good trip.
Yes.
Hopefully it all goes well for him.
You get some good weather as well.
Can't say it's going to be a good time, but
Yeah. Wish I'll be get some good weather for it.
Why have I got this? Craig, I apologise for this. I just got this vision of Craig throwing the ashes out and the wind coming the other way. I'm sorry, Craig. I apologise.
Hate to say it, but I was thinking the same thing.
Mind you, we did the same thing when my mum died, because when my dad died, mum had the ashes in the house. Because I remember when she come to tell me, she says, when we get the ashes back, I'm going to keep dad's ashes, and me bothered us now. So we had dad's ashes, we got the dog's ashes in this cabinet. And then when mum died, we had it cremated, and then we went down to Aberporth in Wales.
Yeah.
That's where mum and dad used to love to go their holidays, and then we just let it all go. Mum, dad, the dogs, everybody.
Yeah, Lee and Lisa have never had an argument in 10 years. Lee knows his place. You can tell by the bruises.
No, I saw a meme on Facebook, and I should have tagged the two of them the other day. It was just a pot, making soup or whatever on the stove. Bent to all hell. So she has the nerve to cook me dinner with the same pot she beats me with.
Well, I saw the meme today. I don't know if I post. I might post it up later. And it's got, I need help, please. I'm currently having an argument with my wife, and she's just turned around and told me that I'm right. Fuck, what do I do next?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's a fantasy, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Lee's mum, Marion, when they took her ashes, and Terry took them to get rid of the ash. Get rid of it sounds terrible saying it like that, but to spread the ashes. They blew back and hit him on his jeans, and he went, "She never would let fucking go." What's that? Yeah, that's a cut. Yes.
Well, Mike, you started the rabbit hole. I'll be going down later to find out the knife that I want now, because those are actually all pretty damn good options.
Exactly, Lisa.
Thing is, if you look on some of the sites now, there are some damn good knives out there.
Yeah, there are
Oh yeah,
at good prices.
yeah.
You could get some knives that are cheap-ish. I mean, you could go to high end, obviously, like anything. There's high end stuff, but
Well, yeah.
you can get some cheap knives that are really, really good quality.
Like I said, my favourite one is that QSP of mine,
Yeah,
because I have to rip through the triple ply corrugated cardboard straight through it. I can do 10 boxes into 6 pieces so that I can compress them down,
Can't please have a snack.
and all I have to do at the end of it is just strip the edge.
yeah.
I tell you what, I got when the other week when I had me stuff come from EC1, Mike Vapes' toolkit, the Blaze toolkit. That little
Yeah.
multi tool they've got in there, actually not a bad little bit of kit.
Yeah,
I mean, the blade's about 1.5 inches long, but I've sharpened that blade now to so much that I can actually trim cotton with it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
In case there's a problem, you can. I don't think much of the scissors. The scissors are a bit crap. Still use me Fiskars, but the actual multi-tool, because it's got a small
yeah.
pliers. Yeah,
I've got the Fiskars titaniums.
and but yeah, I've sharpened the blade now down that fine now that you can actually trim cotton with it.
Yeah.
It's a very, very small blade, so you got more control over it. So you can actually trim cotton if you needed to.
I tell a lie, the Westcott titanium blades, but they don't leave anything. They just cut clean through the lot.
Not that sort of triple ply, Lee.
Trouble is, Albert, at the moment, Fiskars are getting quite a few QC problems with their stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially their wood axes.
Well, that was why I bought the Westcotts. They were the same price as the Fiskars, but quality-wise, the quality's better.
I watched this one video, bloke who does his American bloke who does his camping up in Canada and all that. He's building himself a cabin at the moment. He brought a brand new Fisker axe, heavy duty wood axe. So he got a nice piece of oak, swung it, hit it, and all he did was just bounce.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that ain't very good.
A high quality axe, that.
That's why the axe I have in the garage is twice my age.
Jane, there are very few multi-tools with a decent blade. Believe me.
Never been a big fan of multi tools.
Well, I'm not either, Matt. It's just that's what's in the kit, like.
Yeah,
I thought, well,
yeah.
try it, see what it's like. And
I mean,
it's not a bad
yeah.
little bit of kit.
There are some that you can get a really good edge on, but
I don't like
you don't hold the edge for any length of time.
Mm-hmm.
you know, Swiss Army crap. I hate Swiss Army knives.
Mm.
Main reason I use my Swiss Army knife is for the toothpick.
Yeah.
But
I always thought Swiss Army knives was just a gimmick.
Yeah, they are.
Shane, turn the hose on.
I'll say the useful thing is if you want something you can just slip in your pocket, just in case, it's got a lot of tools on it.
Yeah.
You see,
And the
You never want to use the words. Just slip your fisker in.
No.
It sounds so wrong.
So, but Slippy Fisky, so what, you're speaking Russian again? Piska.
But this one's not the Victorinox design. It's the other one, the Wengler.
Wrangler. They also did Mauser as well.
Yeah,
The Swiss Army knife is only good for what they call emergencies. I mean, if you're going out, especially like with Thailand, if you're going out into the wilds of national parks and all that, camping and stuff like that, you just need yourself a good quality 6-inch blade. And that's
Yeah.
the blade will do everything. Then you can cut wood with it, strip down wood with it. If you keep it sharp, if you're actually hunting and fishing, you can gut things, skin things, everything with it.
Oh yeah.
that's the
American.
other one. That's the other one that's useful and is really cheap. The old Mother knife.
Yeah.
If you get
Yeah.
the carbon steel Mothers, superb blades, and they're cheap as anything. When I say cheap, I'm talking 13 quid for a carbon steel blade,
Oh wow.
fixed blade.
Even you can afford it, Tyler.
I mean, if I scrape the pennies off the floor, it'll be all right.
We used to carry one in the tackle box when we were fishing, me and the old man. And depending on where we went fishing, one of the places we used to go to down in Droitwich had a trout pool. So we used to go in there sometimes and grab a couple of trout. And the
Yeah.
bloke who owned the place, he'd come take your money off you and all that. He'd come round and this is where you're going today, so we're going on the trout pool. And he goes, okay. He'd come up about 12:30 and he'd look at us and send Dad say, yeah. And what we done, we caught about 2 or 3 of them, skinned them, gutted them, cut into fillets in some foil, stuck them on the engine manifold for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I used to hot garlic butter trout, and he used to come across the bloke did he own the place and says, how you getting on? And Dad say it's under the belly for and he used to sit down with us and eat it.
Yeah.
That's something I actually don't have, Mike, is a sharpening system. I haven't carried like I used to for a long time, so I have anything that I was comfortable carrying. Like it was either I didn't like the blade shape or the way it was built or anything like that. I haven't anything decent in a while, so I haven't bothered.
I mean, I'm not going to get the knives out now, but some of the most useful knives, they're not expensive.
No,
No.
they're not. No.
Oh, you are right.
Right, as it's 2 hours and 5 minutes of complete and utter waffle,
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'll let you Muppets do your goodbyes.
Well, thank you very much for letting me on again, lads. I've enjoyed this again. And hope everybody's all right. And as we say every week, if you got any problems, I'm around all the time. Just drop me a message and I can talk to you, text you, whatever.
Yeah.
Except on Thursday, because Thursday, hopefully, I'll have my operation on Thursday. So,
Yeah, good luck with that, Steve.
Yeah, definitely.
but now I've had me right eye done now. I can see a lot better now. So,
Yeah.
All right,
Because
guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
no, Tom, carry on.
Well, as always, everybody, thanks for being here. You know, we enjoy the chat and the waffle and the back and forth. Which is, I don't know, we really didn't talk about the number of shows we're on either, did we?
Yeah.
No.
You know, we're coming up to that year anniversary, so it's been an interesting year. We'll put it that way. A lot of very interesting topics have come up and gone.
No worries,
And
Mike.
the ranting of Matt is always welcome. So, everybody have a great week. Like Steve said, you guys know where we are if you need us. Say your goodbyes, Bill.
Yeah. No, it's been an interesting and random show, which we needed
Right.
because I think last week we got a bit serious at times, didn't we? Which is
Oh, yeah.
surprising.
Sometimes it happens, Bill. Sometimes it happens, Bill, and you got to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, last week's was a useful show, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a light show this week, and Brooke's always there, and you normally get hold of one of us pretty easy. And you've not posted much car porn this week, though, Steve.
I haven't seen a lot about, but I'm gonna have a quick look in a bit before I go to sleep and see what's going on.
Yeah,
I've actually been watching a lot of YouTube because on about the EV bollocks and all that. But there's a
oh,
couple of sites on I've seen with some nice cars on, but I don't know. Even not the supercars of today are shit compared to what we had 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But anyway,
Because of course, I can't stand that supercar blonde.
Oh God, she's a dipshit.
She just does my head in. Get on about this. I mean, you have any car you wanted in the world, any supercar you wanted in the world. Why would you want nothing apart from an XJ220 or an F40? That's it. Done.
XJ220,
No, I got that.
it was a flawed design because they didn't produce what they designed.
No, well, they did, but you only got two versions of it. The V12 one, they only ever made three, I think, two or three of them.
Yeah,
No,
but it was designed for the V12. It wasn't
Oi,
designed for that
We are
little
not
V.
getting into doing a car show. We-
Anyway, I hope everybody has a really good week, and we shall see you next week. And over to you, Matt.
Thank you. This lot will continue waffling about cars for the next 3 hours, probably.
No,
Mike, I have sent you the details across. Any issues this week, people, you know where we are. If you need a chat about anything, just let us know. Yeah, the next week's the 50th show, isn't it?
Next
Yeah.
week's 51st. This was
51st
the 50th, this was the 50th show and then with one show missing. So next week is our 52nd week.
Okay, now a year of this shit.
I know.
Should be getting early release soon. Anyway, yes, nothing else really to say. We shall be back next week. We'll see what's going on with the vaping stuff, which at the minute isn't very much. Hopefully, Keir Starmer drops somewhere in a heap, preferably.
Takes a long walk up a short pier.
That's the one, mate. But we shall see. I don't think we'll be that lucky, but we shall see, guys. So for now, we shall say goodbye, folks.
Ciao, bit.
All right.
Right,
Have a good week, everybody.